All right, now let's discuss the latest crime stats. We are now joined via Zoom by Nicolette Pingo, Programs Manager for Inclusive Cities. Nicolette, thank you so much for your time. Of course, these are shocking statistics, but we probably got a glimpse of what we were expected to hear, following the release of the National Crime Stats by Police Minister on the 3rd of June of 2022, where those, statistics also showed that all contact crimes, murder, assault, and rape in the country had gone up significantly, but 45% murder up in Gauteng. What's your reaction to these latest statistics?
Thank you so much. So I think you've correctly reflected that our most populous province, Gauteng, very much reflects the increases that we saw with the national crime stats, and agreeing that they are really disappointing. At the South African Cities Network, we've just released our 4th State of Crime and Safety report, which is available on our website. And unfortunately, in that report, we also reflected that we were expecting some increases in the crime stats across the board, particularly coming out of the COVID pandemic, and particularly seeing the devastating socioeconomic impacts of the pandemic in our province as well as nationally.
Now, the Gauteng Provincial Commissioner, Elias Mawela, in, just releasing these stats, said that he was very disappointed for police management in the province. But Gauteng is unique in that it has 3 metros. Does this in any way impact police strategy in crime prevention, as well as how these programs are maybe funded?
So I think Gauteng is unique in having these metros, and it does mean that it's capacitated in particular ways. I mean, we see in the city of Johannesburg, the city of Ekurhuleni, as well as the city of Tshwane, that all of those have quite strong metro policing departments, and that those metro policing departments have a strategic coordination between themselves as cities, as well as with national departments and provincial government. We also see that these cities in particular have taken safety quite seriously. They've gone beyond just by law enforcement, and they have included broader city programs to address safety, such as the city of Johannesburg has a city safety program. The city of Tshwane has included safety in their integrated development plan. And the city of Ekurhuleni has really made extensive efforts in building its relationships with communities, which we know is an important contributor to crime in our city. So our report really highlights some of these achievements which the metros have been able to make, and how they are resourcing themselves as metro departments addressing crime, but also more broadly looking at safety as a transversal issue across all departments in the city, looking at improving the design of cities to really try and reduce crime and violence in these cities, but really dealing with complex, difficult socioeconomic conditions, which means that some of these initiatives have yet to really see the impact that we need to see in these very important cities in Gauteng.
Of course, one of the most concerning, especially for me, is crimes against women and children also significantly, increasing, with murder against children increasing by 80%. I know you said that you've also conducted your own report, which is currently on your website. Just talk us through what we are currently seeing in as far as children are concerned. I mean, murder against children increasing by 80% as an example, and attempted murder of children increasing by 150%.
So our report is reflecting, unfortunately, these statistics and these increases of murder, and particularly vulnerable populations like children and women. We also really highlight where some of these crimes are happening, which we see again reflected in the national crime stats as well as at provincial level. So we see that many of these murders are taking place in public spaces, which is really worrying in our cities, as it is the responsibilities of governments, specifically at local government level, to ensure that cities are safe for children in particular, but women as well. And then we're seeing a lot of these murders taking place in individual homes, which really speaks to violence against women and children, which we know the president has called the second pandemic really facing South African society, and the need to really focus on interventions to decrease gender-based violence in our homes, but also crimes against children. And lastly, as reflected by the police minister last week, we are also seeing crimes really taking place, in particular against women in liquor outlets. So that really is of critical concern that we do reflect in our report as well.
All right, Nicolette Pingo, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate your reaction and analysis.